Good morning. Good morning and welcome. My name is the Reverend Greta Seidohl. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve here at Fountain Street Church as your assistant minister. And it is good to be together this morning. Thank you for being here with us. A few brief announcements before we get rolling into worship together. I just want to say from the pulpit, for those watching at home or here, that our elevator is currently out of order. The lift to get up to the chapel is working just fine, as some of you know this morning, but the elevator is out of commission. So if you are coming into the building expecting to use the elevator, do check in with the office and they will be happy to help you get where you need to go as needed. Just want to make that accessibility announcement. Speaking of accessibility, COVID numbers are not great right now. So I do ask that we all keep with the mask policy that we have had in place as an act of community care. So please, when you are in our building, in our services, here for events, all that sort of thing, please do wear a mask over your nose and mouth. We have them that will be provided for you if you need one. And again, thank you for this small act of community care. We are here today as part of our summer speaker series, where we invite members of the Fountain Street community and beyond to share with us things that they are passionate about. And today we have Sue Clay with us, a teacher, educator, and wonderful member of the Fountain Street community, and I'm so grateful that she's here with us. Thank you, Sue. And also for the wonderful music from Robin Connell. Thank you, Robin. I hope that you will bring the fullness of yourself, your passions, into this space with us. And as an invitation into that space, I want us to join together in our invitation to worship. It is participatory. It is not printed in your bulletins. I promise you can do it anyway. The words are really simple. I will say something and you will respond. We travel this road together. Think we can say that? Yeah. All right, try it with me. We travel this road together. Great. If you're joining us at home, you're welcome to type it into the chat or say it out loud, and we will imagine that we can hear your beautiful voice with us. So this is We Travel This Road Together by Tess Bomberger. From the busyness of every day, we gather once a week to remember who we are, to dream of who we might become. We travel this road together. As companions on this journey, we share the milestones we meet along the way. Individual moments of joy and sorrow become shared moments of comfort and celebration. We travel this road together. We share this journey across differences of beliefs and opinions because we value diversity and because we care for one another. We travel this road together. Today, as we take the next steps, let us notice our fellow travelers, the burdens that they carry, the songs that inspire their hearts. We travel this road together. As we gather in beloved community, let us open the holy havens of our hearts. Let us share the sacred places of our souls, for we are pilgrims who share a common path. We travel this road together. And with that, let us join our voices together once more to sing our gathering hymn, number 361 in your gray hymnal, which can be found in the back of your chairs. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Again, number 361, enter, rejoice, and come in. Please join us in singing.
I just want to point out to any musicians in the audience who read music that I play it in a different key than it's written.
Okay, I'm gonna say that into the mic. Our lovely Robin is going to play this in a different key than it is written. So if you read music, pay attention to the note placement and not the key.
And forgive me if I play a wrong note too, but on a signal journey here as we enter, rejoice,
and come in. Rise in body and spirit as you are willing or able.
A poem from Mother Teresa. Life. Life is an opportunity. Benefit from it. Life is beauty. Admire it. Life is bliss. Taste it. Life is a dream. Realize it. Life is a challenge. Meet it. Life is duty. Complete it. Life is a game. Play it. Life is costly. Care for it. Life is wealth. Keep it. Life is love. Enjoy it. Life is mystery. Know it. Life is promise. Fulfill it. Life is a sorrow. Overcome it. Life is a song. Sing it. Life is a struggle. Accept it. Life is a tragedy. Confront it. Life is an adventure. Dare it. Life is too precious. Do not destroy it. Life is life. Fight for it.
I want to invite you into the spirit of prayer and meditation. Many of us walk into spaces out of habit, and therefore how we sit in our chair is one of habit. So I invite you to pay attention to your body. Maybe shift your weight on your seat so that you're sitting a little bit more evenly. Maybe find both feet planted on the floor. Unclench your hands or relax your arms. Soften your gaze or find something particular to focus on. Lastly, bring attention to your breath. Mother Teresa shares that life is a gift and life is a journey. We have all had our own twists and turns along that way. Unexpected events around hidden corners. Beautiful vistas and times where it felt like every rock was a stumbling point. Recall those to mind. And then recall to mind who was beside you at those moments. To whom did you reach out and put your hand on their shoulder when you stumbled? To whom did you turn with beauty and say, ah, at moments of celebration? To whom did you complain when it just felt a little too difficult? Bring them to mind. Wrap them and yourself in deep love and care, knowing that we do not travel alone. Now, I want to invite us into an embodied prayer by the Reverend Lynn Cox. Lynn writes, "We travel together on the search for meaning, having come from many different places and many different gifts to share for this journey. Blessing those who bring the gift of courage. Bless those who bring the gift of love. Bless those who bring the gift of curiosity. Bless those who bring the gift of hospitality. Bless you, whatever gifts you bring to this journey. You are a blessing. And now I would like to invite you to turn to your neighbor in just a minute, to face one person at a time with focus and intention to give and receive this message. Your gifts are welcome on this journey. Your gifts are welcome on this journey. We will take a moment so that you can bless and be blessed by 2 or 3 people near you. If you choose not to participate out loud, you're welcome to just fold your hands and lower your face in meditation and know that your neighbors will appreciate you from afar. Or if you're at home watching by yourself, I invite you to repeat the mantra to yourself, knowing that you are a blessing and that your gifts are welcome on this journey. So with the same intention that you entered meditation, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and turn to one another and offer blessing and intention. Your gifts are welcome on this journey. Turn to one more person and then find your way back to your seats. I gave you one line, not a whole conversation. I know, all right. Your gifts are welcome on this journey. Your love for conversation, your love for connection and community are a blessing, and find your butts back to your seats. I know. I did start it, I know. Your gifts are welcome on this journey. Your gifts for conversation, your gifts for connection, your gifts for care for one another are abundantly present and abundantly welcome. And so just as you have risked meeting one another as you are, I invite you to keep risking, to show up as yourself with all your gifts and all your blessings, and to love each other for all that each of you bring. May it be so. Blessed be.
The second reading is entitled Risk, and it's from the back of our hymnal. The risk. To laugh is to risk appearing the fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out for another is to risk exposing our true self. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To hope is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. To live is to risk dying.
To engage in the offering is to risk the recognition that we are stronger together and possible of more together than we are apart. It is a risk, I acknowledge that. It is a risk to take from your own financial security and give into the abundance that we create together. But that is what we ask of you every week, to give into the abundance that we create together, knowing that this offering goes to support the ministries of this church and also goes beyond these walls back into the community to support good work and liberation and love beyond us. So I invite you to risk whatever you can, small or large. Risk being in community. Risk what is possible together. the offering will now be gratefully received.
This piece was actually written quite a while ago by Horace Silver, called Peace, and he wrote words for it too. But a few years ago, Nora Jones wrote some different words, so I'm going to be singing her version. There's a place that I know where the sycamore grows and daffodils have their fun, where the cares of the day seem to slowly fade away and the glow of the evening sun. Peace is for everyone. If I go there real late, let my mind meditate on everything that has to be done. If I search deep inside, let my conscience be my guide, then the answers are sure to come. Don't have to worry none. When you find peace of mind, leave your worries behind. Don't say that it can't be done. With a new point of view, life's true meaning comes to you, and the freedom you seek is won. Peace is for everyone.
Good morning. My name is Sue Clay, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm very excited to be here. And, well, I won't say I'm nervous because I just won't say that. When I was approached by Carol Koistra back in the winter about being one of the speakers for the summer series, my initial thought was, why? And I wanted to say no right off. But then I thought, out of courtesy, I should hear her out. I asked, will you tell me a little bit about this, please? She explained that she thought I had something to offer and that through this process of preparing a short speech, I would learn a good deal about myself. That had been her experience when she prepared to speak. I asked her how much time I had to give her an answer, but I was already feeling a bit intrigued about accepting this challenge. What would I talk about that might interest others? I was well aware of the many famous and gifted people who had spoken at Fountain Street Church. I had none of these credentials and nor had I made any significant contributions to our church community aside from an annual pledge that others had spoken about. I was frankly intimidated. This was risky business for me. It was a promise of a journey of self-awareness that hooked me. Within a week's time, I had agreed to sign on. I have always thought of life as a journey fashioned by one's ups and downs. I had reached a place in my life where I was reflecting on my life's journey and who I had become. 6 years ago, my husband of 35 years died after prolonged illness. At that same time, I decided to leave my second career as a school counselor educator at Grand Valley State University. After many years as a middle school counselor in East Grand Rapids, I retired in part to spend more time with Harry, who had also retired from his work as a school counselor and counselor educator, and whose health was diminishing. I loved both my careers. I found my working and teaching supervising school counselor candidates at GVSU very rewarding. I delighted in being part of a public school community. My teaching colleagues actually liked middle school students as they struggled to transition into pre-adolescence. I also enjoyed that challenge. One of my favorite counseling lessons that I did with sixth graders was entitled, How to Get Your Parents to Say Yes. With this statement as my anticipatory set, believe me, I had their full attention. I see myself as a yes person, generally optimistic and positive, and I knew I could share this perspective. Yet, as a parent of pre-adolescents, it's typical to say no when their child asks for permission to do something. When put on the spot, I explained that it's normal for parents to be protective, and granting permission to do some activity they cannot directly supervise is a bit frightening for them. I would teach or reinforce some basic communication skills. How to set up a conversation so the parent is likely to feel good about granting permission and saying yes. First, I would remind them of what not to do. I could see from their faces that for many of them, this was currently their preferred way of getting their own way. I would lead them to recognizing that as they are feeling more grown up and would like more freedom, they would need a new set of skills for communicating with their parents, or with teachers for that matter. I taught them the basic of transactional analysis. This is not over their heads at all. Alvin Freed successfully published numerous books with titles including TA for Tots, TA for Kids, TA for Teens. Highly recommended. Simply put, the theory states that there are three voices inside us, inside of each of us. Let's see if we can, I got you. Okay, we got you. We got two people here, and we have three, he calls them ego states. The parent, the adult, and the child. The parent state communicates from messages learned when they were children, the shoulds, the oughts. The child state communicates from the desire to gain independence, the I wants. The adult state communicates from facts and logical reasoning. I understand. When making a request of the parent, the most successful communication is likely to occur when the child communicates from their adult state. This is the child and this is the parent. When they're communicating from their adult state to the parent, they're most likely to feel, to get a good response. However, if the child approaches the parent from the child state, the parent will typically respond from the parent state, and the child often feels put down or misunderstood. When a parent responds to a child's request to say, go to the movies, the immediate response might be no. But if the child can learn to approach their parent in a different way, they can up their chances of permission granted. The first skill is to ask a question their parent is most surely to get a yes response, response. Examples would be, is this a good time to talk? Could we talk later about something I need to ask you? Now their parent is in a yes frame of mind. Remember this? Next, I encourage them to think of all the questions a parent is likely to ask before giving permission. And I ask them how they feel to be asked a million questions. Clearly, they do not like those feelings. The lesson continues by helping them brainstorm all of the information a parent would need. I list the responses on the whiteboard. Who are you going with? What time is the movie? What is the rating of the movie? How much money will you need? Who will be providing transportation? When will you be coming home? I say to the students, if you will provide the needed information up front, you are communicating with the adult state of your parent. And the logical conclusion is much more likely to be the outcome. That is not to say the parent will be saying yes to all their requests, but it does give them a basic understanding of how communication could go awry when the parent-child states get crossed. They get it. They understand that new communication skills will need to be learned and practiced to gain more autonomy and independence. I also assure them that these are lifelong skills, useful in any communication, even with grown-ups. After I retired from my middle school counseling position, I was hired by GVSU. I really enjoyed sharing my experiences with school counselors and training. For years, I taught classes and supervised graduate students during their 600-hour field placements. While I was teaching them, I was also learning so much from them and keeping up with my profession. When I retired from this second career, it meant leaving the educational sector altogether, which had been a significant part of my identity since graduating from college. No longer active in the school counseling field, I decided to give up my leadership positions on the governing board of the Michigan School Counselor Association, a huge part of my identity for well over 30 years. I literally put away my name badges that identified me as faculty member and board member. And when Harry died, I no longer laid claim to wife or caretaker badges as well. For a while I was lost, without an identity. Who was I without these identifiers? Life as a journey took on a whole new meaning for me. Now I had the freedom to travel, but I had no travel companion to share experiences with. It was daunting and risky to consider traveling alone. I was curious to learn about my birth father, who lived in England. I was wondering if he was still living. We had not been in touch for many years. I was born during the war in Wales. My mother, an American, living abroad during World War II, came home to Michigan just as soon as travel was permitted. My parents divorced. I called their marriage one of the casualties of war. They never really had much of a chance to grow their young marriage before war came to Europe. England was being bombed nightly for months and months, and my father, a soldier, away from home. Additionally, my mother's own father died in Michigan during that time, a great loss to her. My father remarried and began a new family. As a result, I have 2 half-brothers. My curiosity led me to Ancestry.com. When I tried to find my father's obituary, I found none, but I discovered a 2-year-old post from Michael Morcom, the name of one of my half-brothers. It read, "Looking for half-sister Susan, born in Michigan in 1940. Well, I am Suzanne, born in Penarth, Wales in 1941, but that was close enough for me. I responded that I believed I was the person he was seeking. My mother's name was Barbara, my father's name was Alfred, and I would be pleased to correspond further. Wow, clearly without the internet, this would not have happened. I said I was interested to know if Alfred was still living. And Michael said, yes, and attached a photo of my father, Michael, and my other half-brother, Peter. celebrating Alfred's 100th birthday. Well, that set me to thinking that I probably should be taking better care of myself if I had those kinds of genes. I began correspondence with both brothers, Michael and Peter, and we had been exchanging emails before my husband Harry died. On his death, they sent sincere condolences, of course. And now, free to travel, they invited me to come visit them. They wanted to meet me. So I arranged a flight in the fall of 2016, and I went to Guildford, England, to visit Peter and his family, and then took the train to Swansea, Wales, to visit Michael and his wife. It was quite an adventure traveling abroad at my age, alone, to be with people I only knew through email correspondence. What if they didn't like me? What if I didn't like them? Despite being a yes person, I didn't see myself as much of a risk taker. This time I decided to take the gamble, and it has proven to open a whole new chapter in my life's journey. I rationalized that if I was not happy with the visit, I had enough credit on my card that I could book an early flight home. I suppose I had enough self-confidence or naivete that I could get myself out of an uncomfortable situation. I decided it was worth the risk. Since that time, I have returned to the UK 4 more times, and Peter and his wife have come to the US to visit me. I could show them a bit of my life here. We get along very well, and we feel we are family. And at the end of this August, Michael is coming to the US to visit me. As they were growing up, Peter and Michael did not know much about me. They believed that their mother, who is now deceased, may have been somewhat threatened by the fact that Alfred had been previously married, so the topic was not discussed. This explains why their knowledge about me was so sketchy. Though through our meeting, I have learned a good deal about our birth father, and so have they. In addition to my newfound UK family, I have a loving family here in the US, another half-brother whose name is, ready for this? Peter. I guess both my parents love the name Peter, huh? I have 4 children, all educators, and 4 grandchildren who mean the world to me. My life's journey takes me to Florida to visit my other brother, Peter, and his wife, and across Michigan to Detroit, where my 2 children and 4 of the grandchildren live. Special times are when we gather at our cottage. Seeing the grandchildren grow and thrive makes me happy. I said I wasn't much of a risk taker, and that was tested when I returned to regular Sunday service attendance at Fountain Street Church. Harry and I had attended quite regularly when our children were growing up, but attendance was irregular as my husband's illness progressed. Fountain Street Church is a place of such great beauty. One had the freedom to come and learn and reflect on Sundays, and then just slip out the back without making eye contact with anyone. I did make a financial commitment each year, but otherwise I was not engaged. It was past time to stop being a taker and to begin being a giver. One spring, I was greatly influenced by an exercise the poetry group had the congregation take part in. We were to write a word on a slip of paper that would be collected, and by the next Sunday, the poetry group would present a poem fashioned from our words. My word was risk. I was thrilled when the poem was revealed the next Sunday. Risk metamorphosis. This poem is still on my bulletin board years later. Risk metamorphosis. Boom. Amazing, mystical experience. Love, betrayal. Trust, bubble breaking. Offering uncertainty and half measures. Unstable ripples craving peace and enlightenment. Breathing wonder, grace. Surrender dominion, shift flight, give respite, open, self-reliant, magnificent, and quiet pride. Tao. Surprise and psycho-spiritual fulfillment. Milkshake. Find your way. I'm still blown away by this poem. Thank you, Jennifer Schlater. This captures so much of what re-engaging with the church has brought to me. I took a risk, and now I am a befriender leader. My life is enhanced and strengthened by these new commitments and affiliations. I paint a happy picture for you. That is not to say that my life has not experienced some significant bumps in the road. I have acknowledged them with respect. Despite these, I do seem to find an orientation that buoys me with hope and allows me to move forward with positivity. It was Steve Jobs who said, "The journey is the reward." Reflecting, my journey has been one of growth and self-discovery. The journey is indeed the reward. Thank you, Religious Services Committee, for inviting me to speak. Thank you for encouraging me.
Thank you, Sue. As we let Sue's sharing sink into our bodies, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn 338, I Seek the Spirit of a Child.
And I am going to play this in the key it's written in.
Okay, great. It is good to start the day together in community, remembering that we do not travel alone and that the journey is the reward. Sue has lovingly made copies of Risk Metamorphosis. If you would like a copy, the ushers will have them in the back on your way out today. So you can also have it on your bulletin board for years to come if you'd like. So I want to send us on our way today with these words from Andrew Paluca. There are miles behind you and many more ahead. As you journey towards wholeness, may all that is good and true guide your way. May the joy of love lighten every step, and the miracle that is life be ever in your sight. May it be so. Blessed be. Have a beautiful week until we get together again.
I'm going to sing Kermit the Frog's song. Of course, he didn't actually write it, but it's fun to pretend. The Rainbow Connection. And this is a song that I had to learn recently for summer camp I'm doing volunteer work at. And I've been asking people, what is this song about? I'm such a literalist. I'm not a poet. And I get all confused about what is the Rainbow Connection? And the other day I was walking with a friend, and she had a great answer. Okay, now I understand what it's about. But her interpretation was one. And today, I think listening to Sue, I think she's had a rainbow connection. And so I've decided that this is a song that can really have more than one meaning, as poetry does. So here we go. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. But rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know there's wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish be heard and answered, and wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something I'm supposed to